physios, I welcome you all to our channel Physiotherapy. Today we are going to start another important topic, which is voluntary movement, also written as active movement. Okay, so in this video we will study about voluntary movement along with its classification, that is the classification of movement, and we will purely focus on one thing, which is free exercise in this video. Okay, active movement have many types, and first of all we will study about free exercise in this video. So my name is Vijay Kumar and let's get started. Okay, what is active movement or what is voluntary movement? Simple. Movement performed or controlled by the voluntary action of muscle. Okay, the movement which we are performing by our own voluntary action is called active movement, and this movement is in opposition to some external force. Yes, we can hold a dumbbell in our hand, we can simply do elbow flexion or shoulder flexion, but you will say, where is the external force? Here the external force in this elbow flexion is gravity, okay, which is a universal external force. Okay, so now if anybody asks you about the definition, you can say it is the movement which is performed and controlled by the voluntary action of muscle which work in opposition to external force. External force, usually it is gravity, but we can add resistance by applying manual or mechanical resistance. Okay, so this is about the definition. Then classification of movement. Okay, now what is the classification of movement? Simple. Active movement and passive movement. Yes, passive movement I have discussed in the previous two lectures, and now we will purely focus on this active movement part. Okay, so active movement definition you know, and this active movement can be free exercise, assisted exercise, assisted resisted exercise, and last is the resisted exercise. Okay, I will explain one by one all these to you. So first of all, now we will be focusing on the free exercise. Okay, so you need to focus on this part, free exercise. These are the exercise. What are free exercise? Free exercise are the exercise which are performed by the patient. Okay, as the voluntary movement, the exercise or the movement is performed by the patient, that is by its own effort with no assistance and no resistance. Okay, there is no assistance or no resistance except gravity. Only the gravity is there. Okay, so here the external force is gravity only. Simple. The person is performing movement by its own muscular effort, by its own strength and energy, with no assistance, no resistance. Only external force is gravity. पर्सन जो है वो मूवमेंट खुद कर रहा है, अपने मसल्स की ताकत के चलते कर रहा है, कोई असिस्टेंस या रेजिस्टेंस उसको नहीं दिया जा रहा है. वो क्या है? फ्री एक्सरसाइज. सो डेफिनेशन क्या है? दीज आर द एक्सरसाइज परफॉर्म्ड बाय द पेशेंट विद इट्स ओन एफर्ट. ओन एफर्ट, अपने एफर्ट से, दैट इज नो असिस्टेंस नो रेजिस्टेंस. दीज टू वर्ड्स आर इंपॉर्टेंट. with no assistance and no resistance called free exercise. and only अगर कोई पूछे बेटा कोई असिस्टेंस कोई रेजिस्टेंस नहीं, तो बोलना सर बस एक चीज है. वो क्या है? वो है एक्सटर्नल फोर्स. कौन सी है? ग्रेविटी. क्योंकि ग्रेविटी को तो हम एलिमिनेट कर सकते हैं, लेकिन हम ऐसा मतलब एक पर्टिकुलर प्लेन हम ले सकते हैं जिसमें जो मूवमेंट है वो ग्रेविटी से मतलब कि वो जो मूवमेंट है वो ग्रेविटी से अनअफेक्टेड रहेगी. ओके, लेकिन हम हमेशा के लिए ग्रेविटी को हटा नहीं दे सकते. वी कैन नॉट एलिमिनेट द ग्रेविटी fully. Okay, so here the only external force is gravity. Mostly used for home program schedule. Why? These type of exercise are prescribed by the therapist to the patient so that they can perform these exercise even at home for the better therapeutic effects. Okay, so patient can learn these form of exercise and they can go home, simply they can perform these exercise. Okay, so now what is the definition of free exercise? You are clear. Now we will focus on classification of free exercise, local and general. It is very simple, you need not to worry about it. Local or general. In local, as the name itself suggests, that the movement is occurring at a particular joint. Okay, particular. Shoulder flexion, elbow flexion, shoulder abduction. What are these? These are the localized, local free exercise, and it can also be general. That is, multiple joints are involved. For example, I am walking, I am jogging. Okay, these are general exercise. So what I have written? They are localized to a particular joint. See, this word is important. They are localized to a particular joint of body. Here you can see multiple joints are involved. When you walk, your hip joint, your shoulder joint, also there is some trunk movement. Multiple joints are involved. Okay, but in the local, you can say only a single joint is involved. Okay, they improve the range of motion, strength, power, and endurance of one muscle group. Simple. As the movement is occurring at a particular joint, and only that joint muscle will be affected now. But in case of general, as there are a lot of joints involved, a lot of muscles will be strengthened and their mobility is increased. Example, here you can write jogging, running, and here you can write simple free exercise of shoulder flexion, which will help to strengthen the anterior deltoid, abduction, which will be helpful for the middle fiber of the deltoid, and extension for the posterior fiber of deltoid. Similarly, one of the most, we can say, prevalent example is SLR, which means straight leg raise. And if you do the SLR in supine position, it is for the hip flexor, and if you do abduction, it is for the hip abductor, and if you do it in the prone position, that is, you lift up the leg in the prone position, it will be for the hip extensor. Okay, so different movement, different muscles are targeted in the local and general free exercise. Okay, so this is about the classification. Simple. Now, characteristic or the character of free exercise. See, in the we can say in our clinicals, you need to focus on two things: that what is subjective and what is objective of exercise. Okay, in subjective, you can see I have written here, more attention is focused to learn the form or the pattern of movement. You focus to learn the proper pattern of the exercise. For example, you are dealing with a patient of any kind of shoulder injury, okay, and you are training him to do the free exercise shoulder flexion. You will ask him to do shoulder flexion accurately. Okay, you would not allow to do flexion like this, like this, like this. Okay, you will focus on the anatomical movement. See, here more attention is focused to learn the form or the pattern of exercise, that is to ensure accurate performance, so that each and every movement is accurate. Okay, movement is performed in perfect anatomical range and pattern. For example, shoulder flexion. Okay, shoulder flexion, SLR, both of these are the form of subjective. But if in this exercise only you add some goal, okay, it will become objective. Here more attention is focused to learn the form or the pattern of exercise to achieve a particular objective. For example, there is single patient and I am asking him to do shoulder flexion. He will do like this. But I can also say, try to pick up the glass from the table. He will do like this. Here whole anatomical shoulder flexion is not done, but the objective is achieved. Okay, the patient is able to do the ADL, that is activity of daily life, which is picking up the glass and drinking of the water. But in subjective, you need to focus on the anatomical pattern and particular form to ensure the accurate performance. Okay, so you understand about the difference. Let me explain you once again. Here more attention is focused to learn the form and pattern of exercise, that is to achieve particular aim. Here there will be some goal to achieve in the exercise program, but not spoiling the perfect pattern. See, though the goal is to hold the glass and drink water, but it should not be wrong. The patient should not take his arm like this. For example, there is a glass in front of me. The patient should do like this. He will move his hand forward, hold the glass and drink water. He or she should not do like this or like this, we can say any faulty movement without spoiling the perfect anatomical pattern. That is, the anatomical pattern is also maintained in the objective, but a goal is added. Simply you can write that, you can learn that subjective, it is the perfect anatomical movement. Okay, you need to focus on form and pattern to ensure accurate performance, and in objective you give a goal object to the person. You can see I have written here shoulder flexion and here to pick up the cup of tea from table. Okay, similarly you can give example of hip joint also. The first one is in objective to bend forward and to touch the greater toe. Okay, bend forward and touch the greater toe. Or simple you can do in the subjective that only forward flexion. Okay, so these are the characteristics of free exercise, which is subjective and objective. After all this, you need to focus and remember these two words, lever and speed. Okay, these are very important to, we can say, to prescribe the exercise efficiently to the patient. Lever, I have already delivered a lecture on the lever system in which I have given a lot of example of human body levers, and you can also watch that. In lever you need to understand that if we use short lever activity, for example this is long lever shoulder flexion. Okay, this require more effort, and if the patient is, we can say patient is weak, we can add short lever shoulder flexion. Similarly, this is long lever abduction and this is short lever abduction. You can also do, you can find that this long lever abduction is, we can say, more likely to consume the more effort, that it requires more effort of the patient, but this short lever abduction is quite easy to perform. So simply you can say that by increasing the length of lever, you can increase the patient's effort, and by decreasing the length of lever, you can reduce the effort in weak patients. Similarly, speed. In speed, you need to focus on one line, that slow movement require more control. Slower is the movement, more control is form. Okay, as the patient will do this free exercise slowly, he will develop a good control over these movement. Okay, so this is about the free exercise, in which we studied about free exercise, classifications, characteristics, and these two points which are very important. A lot of questions are asked, and now we will study about the advantages, disadvantages, and technique of application of free exercise. So now we will study about advantages, disadvantages, technique, and effect and uses of free exercise. Advantages. Okay, patient learn to perform exercise by its own. Simple, we can teach the patient how to perform exercise, he or she can perform it. Okay, and if patient do not rely on other people to do exercise, it helps to increase the confidence of patient. And last is, it can be also used for home exercise prescription. Okay, so now we will study about disadvantage. In disadvantage, I will make you understand first of all these 2 points. Okay, sometimes compensatory movements can be performed by patient. Yes, for example, for doing the shoulder abduction, patient can do like this. Patient can do like this. This is the compensation. Okay, he is using his shoulder elevation to increase the abduction. Okay, so to reduce or to prevent this disadvantage, you need to give a proper instruction to patient so that there is no compensatory movement. Then if there is any kind of brain damage in the patient, this type of patient cannot initiate the voluntary movement, so we cannot prescribe the free exercise, but we can prescribe free exercise until, or we can say after, when voluntary control is established. Okay, so these patients first of all need to gain a voluntary control, only then we can use free exercise. Also in this point you need to understand that free exercise make insufficient demand on patient's neuromuscular system to elicit a maximal response in weakened muscle. It means that कि अगर कोई मसल वीक है उसका मैक्सिमल रिस्पॉन्स पाने के लिए फ्री एक्सरसाइज उस मसल को उतना डिमांड नहीं दे रहा, ओके, उतना अच्छे से स्टिमुलेट नहीं कर रहा। क्यों? क्योंकि नॉर्मली क्या होता है, जब हमको किसी भी वीकन मसल को स्टिमुलेट करना है टू गेट अ मैक्सिमल रिस्पॉन्स, वी नीड टू स्टिमुलेट इट बाय अ लोड which is above than the normal load of that particular muscle, which is the principle of overload. Okay, so it do not make a sufficient it makes an insufficient demand on the patient's neuromuscular system to elicit a maximal response in weakened muscle. Okay, this thing you will further understand in the resistance exercise part, though you can understand it here only, that कि जब भी हमने किसी भी वीक मसल को मैक्सिमल रिस्पॉन्स के लिए स्टिमुलेट करना है तो उसको डिमांड देना है, हमको उसको डिमांड करना पड़ेगा that to give a maximal response. But in free exercise there is no resistance, so we need to give a resistance which is also more than the normal resistance, principle of overload, to elicit a maximal response. Then further is the technique of free exercise. First of all, starting position, it is simple, it should be comfortable, and the patient should be, we can say, in a comfortable position so that he or she can perform free exercise efficiently. Then instruction, yes, instruction is very important so that there is no faulty movement. Okay, then speed, I have explained that slow speed requires more control and effort. Duration depend upon the capability of the individual. Also, usually we perform 3 bouts, that is 3 sets of 10 to 20 repetitions of free exercise. Okay, then next and last is effect and uses of free exercise. First is relaxation. In relaxation you can understand it in 2 ways. First is that whenever we do exercise of this muscle, that is shoulder flexor, extensor will relax. How? This is agonist is contracting and antagonist is relaxing. Why? Due to the reciprocal innervation, and this law was given by law of reciprocal innervation given by Sherrington. Okay, so first is this. Also the free exercise which are oscillatory or pendular in character also induce the relaxation. Further, it helps to increase joint mobility, which is simple. By doing repetitive sets and a lot of repetition of free exercise, joint mobility is increased, that is range of motion is increased. Then muscle power and tone, yes, power can be increased. I have explained that long lever movement require more effort as compared to short lever movement. Also the movement should be slow to make the body to do more effort. Okay, that slow movement require more effort and more control. Okay, to increase the activity of muscle, to maintain or increase the power and tone. Okay, then it is neuromuscular coordination. Okay, once the patient do these free exercise for a large number of repetition, the movement pattern get registered in our brain and the coordination is increased. Okay, so this is again very simple. Now this point is very important, you need to understand it very carefully. It is simple. Circulatory and respiratory cooperation, or simply you can write it is the regulation of cardiorespiratory function. In this you will study that how the heart and the lungs, that is the cardiac and the respiratory system, is regulated by free exercise. First of all, what is the need of active tissue? For example, I am going to do shoulder flexion free exercise. Okay, then what will be the need of this active tissue, that is shoulder flexor? This tissue require a good blood flow so that there is a good supply of oxygenated blood, so that oxygen can be taken and energy can be liberated to do the contraction. Also this good blood supply is important to, we can say, to return the metabolic waste or to wash out the metabolic waste. So this is about the need of active tissue. Then preparation for activity. Once we anticipate that we are going to do free exercise, जब मैंने एक बार सोच लिया कि हाँ अब मैं फ्री एक्सरसाइज या किसी भी प्रकार की कोई एक्सरसाइज करूंगा, तब क्या होगा, देन आवर सेरेब्रल कॉर्टेक्स, विजुओमोटर सेंटर, रेस्पिरेटरी सेंटर गेट स्टिमुलेटेड. ओके, ऑल्सो देयर इज रिलीज ऑफ एड्रेनालिन. और एड्रेनालिन क्या करता है, इट इंक्रीज हार्ट रेट, ब्लड प्रेशर, ऑल्सो इंक्रीज रेट ऑफ रेस्पिरेशन. ओके, एंड इसका क्या पर्पस है, इसका पर्पस है कि ये हमारी बॉडी को प्रिपेयर कर रहा है. इट इज गोइंग टू प्रिपेयर अवर बॉडी टू डू द exercise. Also there is another important point that blood flow is shifted from the skin and internal organs to the muscles. So why? Because whenever we are doing exercise, muscle require more blood flow, so there is the shifting of the blood from the skin and splanchnic. Splanchnic means the internal organ region to the working muscles. Okay, so this is preparation for activity. Then local circulatory changes. Whenever there is exercise of a particular muscle, what are the changes that occur in the muscle? The capillaries of that muscle get dilated so as to increase the blood flow. It is again same to increase oxygen and to wash out the metabolic waste. Then regulation of circulation and respiration during exercise. Yes, this is again important. See, regulation of circulation and respiration. In circulation it helps to increase venous return and lymphatic return. Venous and lymphatic return is increased. How? It is due to the pumping action. Pumping action of what? Pumping action of muscle. Muscle contract and the capillaries which are present in the muscle get contract and blood is moved toward the heart. That is, the circulation is increased, venous and lymphatic return is increased. Also, this is further aided by the pressure variation in the respiratory area. Okay, so respiration also have some pressure variable which will further increase this circulation. Also you can write that during exercise body temperature increase. Yes, body temperature increase. Also carbon dioxide is increased. Okay, so this was about circulation. Okay, that venous and lymphatic return is increased, and now this is about respiration. Whenever we will do any exercise, there will be increase in body temperature and carbon dioxide, and these two will further stimulate the respiratory center. Why? Because respiratory center, once it will be stimulated, there is an increase in rate of respiration, which will help to, we can say, overcome the demand. Okay, which will help to overcome the demand of the body. Why? Whenever we do an exercise, there is a lot of demand on our muscles. Okay, so this help to further stimulate the respiratory system. And this increase in body temperature is also maintained. Yes, after some time we come to normal body temperature. How? By the sweat gland, by the activity of sweat gland. Okay, sweat is given by our sweat glands. Okay, sweat glands, so which help to further bring our temperature near to the normal. And last two effect and use are increase in venous and lymphatic return, and last is it also prevent the formation of adhesions. Okay, so these free exercises are also important, that these prevent the formation of adhesion and maintain the length of soft tissue and other related structures. Okay, so this is about the free exercise. We have completed this whole topic. In our next video we will study about assisted exercise and assisted resisted exercise, and then there will be another video for resisted exercise. Okay, so till then you keep on studying. Thank you to one and all.